So by now, hopefully you've shot your bottle rocket a couple of times. But have you still really learned anything about rockets? Why don't we talk about them a little bit? First, I want to talk about the difference between rockets and a similar thing that gets shot through the air, which is a projectile. Now, the difference between rockets and projectiles is not the shape that they are, the distance that they go, it's how they actually get shot through the air. Rockets have thrust, which means that the power that propels them comes from inside the rocket itself, and it happens as the rocket is flying. In this case, the thrust comes from the compressed air in the bottle pushing out the water that's inside of the bottle. As that water gets pushed out, Newton's third law of motion applies, which states that for every action, there is an equal and opposite reaction, which basically means that if you push something, it actually pushes you back. In this case, the bottle pushing the water out of its nozzle also means that the water is basically pushing the bottle forward. So that's what makes it fly forward. And this is how thrust works in a rocket. Whether it's flame coming out, or whether it's water or air, or some other medium, that provides the thrust, and that provides the flight. A projectile is different though. With a projectile, the object is thrown or flung or shot with pressure still, but that thing happens before the object takes flight. And then once the object's in the air, it's all over. That isn't happening anymore. It was either already thrown or already shot. So one example of this would be, I have a little pipe here, which makes a simple marshmallow shooter. You can load marshmallows in it, and then apply some air pressure behind the marshmallow using your mouth and blowing. It's pretty cool and fun, but it's different than a rocket. Sure, air is pushing the marshmallow a lot like air was pushing the water out of the rocket, or like water was pushing the rocket itself. Still have a fluid causing pressure and causing some motion and some pushing. The difference here though is that once the marshmallow gets to here, once it barely exits the pipe, that air from me blowing just goes and it's not really doing anything to the marshmallow anymore. The only reason the marshmallow is still flying is because it got up to so much speed just inside this little pipe that it still had quite a bit of speed left, and it could still use that speed to fly pretty far. Now, there are some things that might be called rockets, looking at you, Stomp Rockets, that aren't actually rockets. They're projectiles. They're the same thing as this marshmallow shooter. It's a pipe with some pressurized air that makes something go. The only difference is that the Stomp Rockets go on the outside of the pipe rather than the inside, but it's still the same thing. It's shot off by pressurized air, and once it leaves the pipe, it doesn't have any thrust. It's just flying because it was already going pretty fast from its time on the pipe, and it just keeps flying that same way, but it's not actually a rocket.